Hi everyone, my name is Maggie Lin and I'm a senior from Stuart Country Day School, and today I'm going to be presenting you on the preliminary study of the addition of MCT on hydrolysis rate of LCT. So before we actually start, let's start with the background a little bit. MCT and LCT. So MCT stands for mid-chain triglyceride, while LCT stands for long-chain triglyceride. Basically, the main difference is that LCT has a longer carbon tail compared to MCT. So during the summer of my junior year, I was working with Dr. Richard Deckelbaum, who is a professor in Columbia University, studies in pediatrics. But all you need to know about that is that back then we were studying on this new product called Pronto Mega. What's special about Pronto Mega is that it contains about 80% MCT and 20% LCT. And this mixture, this ratio, actually gives us a very special characteristic that it has a very fast hydrolysis rate. So then you might ask, why is it important that, why does having a fast hydrolysis rate matter? Why is it so significant? Well, as we know, that fish oil, which contains many LCTs, have many benefits to you, like preventing cardio diseases, expanding veins, basically everything that's good for your heart. However, for most of the fish oils that's selling in the market now, they all have one very common problem. So as you can see on this graph here, that LCT is at the bottom and then MCT is on the top. You can see that LCT clearly has a very long tail compared to MCT. And this is going to cause one problem is that it's harder for LCT to get broken down by our body, and then it takes a very long time for it to be absorbed and to be broken down. So what usually happens for most of the fish oil in the market is that way before it can actually be completely absorbed by your body, it already goes through your whole digestive system and then being excreted out. So only a very low amount of it can actually be absorbed. However, for Pronto Mega, it's different. Because of the 80% MCT, there it is. As you can see on the previous graph there, that MCT has a way shorter tail, which means that it's faster for MCT to actually get hydrolyzed. So the MCT here actually functions as a protective layer, or like a fuel, so it allows itself to be burned out by the body first, and leaving the LCT there to be actually absorbed by the body. So one of my previous experiments also verifies this point that, as you can see here in the red here is the Pronto Mega emulsion. And then at the bottom here is the omega-ben emulsion, which is an emulsion made with mainly fish oils. So you can see there, Pronto Mega actually has a way faster hydrolysis rate compared to omega-ben emulsion here. So for my research, as I was studying more into Pronto Mega, I was starting to think about applying it to actual real-life cases. So one of the possible appliances for Pronto Mega emulsion is that it can actually be applied to surgical fields or medical fields. So it's very reasonable to assume that when the doctor is prescribing Pronto Mega emulsion, it might also prescribe other emulsions along with it. So therefore, I hypothesize that the addition of other emulsions will affect the hydrolysis rate of Pronto Mega, causing either a decline or increase in its hydrolysis rate. So here are the materials I used for the experiment. On your left-hand side, this whole column is used to simulate a body-like environment. And then on the right-hand side here, the LPL enzyme is one of the major enzymes in our body that's used to break down the lipids. For Pronto Mega emulsion, of course, omega-ben emulsion, as we stated before, is the emulsion made with fish oil, and intralipid emulsion, which is another emulsion that contains mainly LCTs. So here are my procedures. So first of all, I prepare the mixtures that simulates the body environment, and then I dilute the enzymes and emulsions to their proper ratio. Then I perform an enzyme curve and a time curve. Basically, those are two curves I use to measure the rate of hydrolysis or the rate of triglycerides being broken down throughout time or throughout different amounts of enzyme use. Then I analyze my solution with a NEFA assay, which is used to measure the amount of triglycerides in the solution. So with the assay, I can actually get this data, which, as you can see here in the blue dotted line here above, it's still the Pronto Mega emulsion, still contains a very fast hydrolysis rate. But as you see at the bottom here in the black line, which is a mixture of 200 micrograms of Pronto Mega along with 200 micrograms of omega-ben solution. And then above that, the green line is 200 micrograms of Pronto Mega with 100 micrograms of omega-ben emulsion. And then up there in the orange line is 200 micrograms of Pronto Mega and 50 micrograms of omega-ben. So as you can see on the graph here, that Pronto Mega clearly has a very big difference in their hydrolysis rate compared to this Pronto Mega mixture with omega-ben. While the intralipids are all staying here, having a pretty similar hydrolysis rate compared with the Pronto Mega. So therefore, I conclude that the addition of omega-Vin emulsion will affect the hydrolysis rate of Pronto Mega emulsion, causing it to decrease significantly. So you might ask, why is this finding matter? Why is it important? Well, so as I stated before, Pronto Mega emulsion might be applied into surgical fields, in which case one of the possible surgeries would be cardio bypass surgeries. So for your knowledge, that during cardio bypass surgeries, there's this very dangerous period when the blood is reflowing back to the veins. And then because the blood pressure is so high and then the veins walls are actually very fragile, the high blood pressure might actually break the veins wall and causing harm to the patient. But what Pronto Mega is able to do here is that it can actually strengthen the veins wall because it contains fish oil and it's very fast for it to absorb. So it can actually strengthen the veins wall to make it strong enough to endure that blood flow. However, if the doctor might apply omega-Vin emulsion in their surgeries, well, in which case it might be used to provide as a source of energy for the patients, then as we know here from the research that we know that omega-Vin will drag down the hydrolysis rate of Pronto Mega, causing it to not be able to function to its maximum at the right time, and which might lead to other unexpected surgical results. So for my future research, I'm thinking about transitioning from external experiment, which is what I'm currently doing now, into internal experiments. Next steps would be animal experiments. And I'm also thinking about expanding the range of emulsions that I'm testing, in which finding more emulsions that's in the market that might be applied to surgical use or medical use. Thank you all for spending your time with me, and is there any questions?